welcome to the Permian Basin Master Gardener Greenhouse Tours. My name is Suzanne Rowland. I'm a Permian Basin Master Gardener as well as the Andrews County Extension Agent. Thank you for coming and joining us. Today our special guest is Marianne Miles. Thank you, Marianne.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
So we are going to start here in Marianne's greenhouse. Now this is not what you would call a traditional greenhouse. It's very versatile in the fact that in the winter it serves as a greenhouse, but in the summertime she opens it up and it's the entryway into her home. So Marianne, could you tell us a little bit about this really awesome, cool structure?
Well, whenever we built our house, it had an opening at the top, and then I put polycarbonate at the top to make a greenhouse because I needed one. Now I have 2 more greenhouses that I don't have as many plants in here as I usually did. And at the top I put pipes here to hang baskets, and the baskets that I usually hang here, they're in the other greenhouse, but it's usually just jam-packed every year. And the calabachos stay here year-round. They, I don't know how I knew they grew here, but I started and they've kind of taken over, but I really enjoy having those. And then I will cut them back, and then I will plant them again because they're kind of getting too big. But I have some succulents in here, and normally I have a lot of other things, but since I have other greenhouses, this is all I have.
Okay, well, just to reiterate, behind this black tarp is her entryway. But in the entryway, she has cut out some plywood to stick it into the entryway to block off as much air as she can. And then this was just an additional layer added on to keep that cool air from blowing in. In some of our other tours, we've talked about the orientation of the greenhouse. So something I would like for you to notice. So if you notice over here, this is the north, this is north, and this is south. And if you can see, there's very little sunlight over here, but there's quite a bit of sunlight here. And that's because this would be considered a south. The orientation is facing south because the sun is coming in and directly hitting these plants. And if you'll also notice over here, she has is it calacho?
Calacho.
Calacho over here and also the calacho over here. And what a difference really in the color of the plant as well as how well it grows over here versus here. So orientation of your greenhouse is something very important that you need to consider before you start construction of your greenhouse. Marianne, I've also noticed how you repurpose things. And I think that is just so awesome. If you could tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we always have something. Every time I see something, I think, what else can I do with that? And most of my whole garden is recycled things, that I've reused. And this happens to be a light fixture. And in order for these to stay on here, I've glued those in here. But they have small cactus in here, but and then the black plastic. Nearly every time someone comes out there, they say, well, "What's the plastic for?" And that's for a lot of times you have a wire basket and the cocoa liner wears out, but this will hold the moisture. And even with a cocoa liner, it's really good to use a cocoa liner inside and the plastic on the outside. And vice versa.
Do you put drain holes in the black plastic?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is that real strong. There's some plastic that the sun gets it, but this has filament in it and it's the kind that they use on the bottom of the mobile homes to protect the bottom.
Well, thank you. Can you imagine if every American learned to repurpose, what a wonderful thing that would do to our landfills? As far as we would have less junk in them if we as Americans learn to repurpose things.
In my garden, my native plant garden, there's a lot of repurposed things out there.
Okay.
We won't be doing that today, but anyone's welcome to come out and take a tour, walk through.
Okay, and then also look how cool this is. You've got this pot, and then it looks like some type of hanging light, or yeah. How neat, and how putting the pipes across and hanging the plants from. It's just being creative with your greenhouse and your plants, and You've done a beautiful job in here.
Well, thank you. And until I got my other greenhouse, I used every bit of this.
All right. Well, let's go take a look at some more of Mary Ann's greenhouses.
This is my succulent greenhouse. It is 8 by 10. And I got this. I was most proud to get it. One of my friends' daddy died, and his wife didn't work in her yard anymore. So he said I could buy it for $100, y'all. So it had the different kind of skin on the front, but the other needed to be replaced. So we replaced this with polycarbonate that most all the greenhouses have. And I have recycled a lot of my pots. And this was a light fixture, and I had about 12 of these. And it had little holes all around here, so I just put that decorative duct tape on here to make pots. So when you have a tall succulent, this keeps it from falling over. And also, I started making hypertufa pots, and I'm in love with doing that too. And here's one of those, made out of peat moss, concrete, and vermiculite. So much fun to make, and I've made all sizes. And anyone wants to know how to do this, there's a lot of it on the computer about that, but I'm kind of getting to know how to do that. And also, I was over at a friend's house. He was cleaning out a building, and there was all kinds of pots like this. So I made holes in those, and they're real easy to drill with a metal drill. Or if it's glass, you can use a glass drill. And my daughter gave me this, and I was worried because I couldn't drill a hole in this. It was too stout. So I figured by the time I watered it a little bit, it'd have to go all the way down there, and it would be okay because succulents do not like a lot of water. And here's another can I just found somewhere and put a succulent that's tall in it.
This is a wonderful little greenhouse for succulents. Mary Ann has here a heater. Could you tell us why you have this heater?
Well, succulents are, I don't turn off my heater at night in my house. And I have my succulents in there and they froze. So they have to be at a, not freezing temperature. So this keeps my greenhouse at 40 degrees when it gets real cold.
Okay, so this kicks on automatically if the temperature drops below 40.
Right.
Okay, very nice. So right now, let's see, in here it looks like it's about 82, 84 degrees.
Yes.
Very nice. And like we said, it's about 65 outside. So this is a nicely insulated little greenhouse for Mary Ann succulents.
And the reason it's under a tree is because I was using it to make stepping stones too, and it just got really, really hot. So this provides, because I bring all of my stepping stone things in here in the summer, and I don't put anything in here in the summer. I take all this out and put it in my yard by the side of my house for display.
Yeah, it gets way too hot in the summer, doesn't it?
Yes.
So here we are in another one of Mary Ann's greenhouses. Now, Mary Ann, could you tell us what this greenhouse is made of? Is this aluminum or?
It's steel and polycarbonate on the sides, and it's a kit from Mueller Incorporated or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And it's a 9 by 12, and it was $1,185 on sale.
That's not too bad of a price.
No, and we added the shelves and then the little hooks here, but I found out it gets too hot to plant, they don't do too well up here. Besides, you hit your head when you come in here.
Okay. And what do you use this greenhouse for?
Just over winter plants.
Okay. Because in the summers, you can't really grow plants in here, can you?
No.
It's just too hot.
Yeah, it is.
And right now, let's see, we have a thermometer down there, and it's registering 90 degrees in here. So, and that's, like I said, with it being 65, 68 degrees outside. So it's pretty darn warm in here, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Do you have any type of exhaust fans or any air blowing through here?
No, I don't need it in the winter, but if it gets hot like this, I should probably have my windows open. And I have one here and one in the back.
Okay, so it does have 2 windows.
Yes.
Very nice. And what about watering? How do you water the plants in here?
Well, I have a faucet in my backyard, and I use a garden hose.
Okay.
Sometimes I hand water,
Okay.
just certain things.
And I noticed that the floor is concrete. Do you have any problem with when you water, the water kind of gathering down here? Or
Yeah, a little, but it evaporates, and I just assume these plants just drink it up out the bottom of their deal.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you like about this greenhouse, and what, if you could change, would you change?
Well, I like it because I needed more room, and that's why I got it, because I've solely got it for my bougainvilleas, that I love those. And the first, since I got it, I didn't really know how to adjust the temperature or anything, and I thought I had lost my bougainvilleas, and I had just got the greenhouse, and I was sick about it, because that's the main purpose I bought it for.
Yes, ma'am.
But, and what'd you ask me?
And what, so that's, you love the purpose to raise your I know I'm not saying it right.
I don't know either. I don't either.
What could you change about it if you wanted to change something in here? What would it be?
I don't know. I may put some kind of covering on it to keep it from getting so hot.
Like a shade cloth?
Yeah, and I have some. I got some right there, and I just hadn't figured out how to do it. I'm thinking about putting it on the inside instead on the top.
Yeah, and we saw that, I believe, in Nancy's greenhouse. Yes. Nancy had it
She's
inside.
the one who gave me the idea.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this is very nice, and so Marianne uses this to winter her plants, and then in the spring, right after the frost, you put them all outside, and Marianne is a beautiful porch and just so nicely decorative. I do notice that you do have a small heater out here.
Yes, and it's also fixed to come on at 40 degrees.
Okay.
To keep it.
Plants from freezing. Yeah, because succulents do not like to freeze, do they?
No.
It wipes them out pretty fast. All right. Well, thank you very much. This is very beautiful.
Well, thank you very much, too.
This isn't necessarily a greenhouse, but it is such a unique structure that Marianne and her brother built that we just want to have Marianne brag on this for a little while because it's really quite unique and beautiful. Could you tell us a little bit about it, Marianne?
Well, we had a sister-brother experience on this one. But as you can see, I live in a rock garden, and I had plenty of rocks, so what am I going to do with it? Can't throw them on my neighbor's land. So I had to make something out of it. So I decided I wanted a 10 by 20 arch. So I told my brother I wanted it really big. So we didn't know how to do that, and we didn't measure anything. We just did it. As you can see, the only one that's straight is just one of them, and I can't remember which one it is. But we got a piece of plywood and cut it in a half moon shape, and then to make the curve, we had a round metal ring that we used, and we started on the piece of plywood. We cut 5-gallon buckets in two, and we screwed those on the arch. That made us a place to put the rocks in, and we also used rebar from post to post. And we started out with the round thing and just kind of eyeballed it till we could get up there to make the rest of the arch. And we started one year in February in the afternoons when it was warm, and we finished it in April.
It's just the coolest thing, and I know in the summer it has some beautiful vines growing.
Yes, hyacin bean vines, and I've got a queen's wreath there. And now I'm trying to get some passion vine growing, and I've been pretty good on that. And I have a cross vine too.
You know, it's also kind of similar to a hoop house. If you actually could really use this as a greenhouse, if you just put some nice plastic around it over top, and secure the bottom, and put a back to it. Yeah.
In one of our classes, there was one of our speakers showed in one of the parks that you could grow gourds, and I have this wire that is right here in the middle, and the gourds just fall through those when they're small, and it's really neat to see them hanging down.
I bet. So the gourds grow up along there, and
yeah,
they fall down.
They're wonderful vines. Gourds are. But I've just hung some up there. Those are some that I've grown. And there's my my chandelier with gourds.
That's very cool.
And also I have some pot people that Nancy Donovan and Shirley Kelly gave us a, what's it called? Class.
A glass.
See, I told you. And then I made those, and I'm real proud of those too. They're sitting there and enjoying themselves on that bench.
If you live in Midland or Odessa and you're driving down Yukon, you cannot miss Marianne's beautiful rock garden because it's just, I've never seen anything like it in my life. And Marianne is always so hospitable when you want to stop by and look at it. So,
there's a welcome sign in the middle of my garden
Yes,
that
there is.
you're welcome to walk around anytime. I don't have to be here.
and a big Statue of Liberty, too.
Mhm.
Welcoming guests, too.
In fact, my garden is named Liberty Garden.
Liberty Garden, that's
Mhm.
beautiful.
Debbie Frost named that for me.
Oh. Well, we want to thank Marianne so much for showing us her beautiful greenhouse, her succulent house, and just, opening up her beautiful place to us. Thank you, Marianne.
Well, you're welcome. My pleasure.